Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Academy of Soul Manifestation. And we are on lesson 43. Is it really true? Have we already gone through 43 of these amazing soul awakening lessons? Yes, we have. And yet, this is really just the first step. But it's the main and most important step, which is the integration, the grounding, the embodying of this I am consciousness. Everything that we've been talking about and experiencing over the course of this last year. And many of you are intending to take what you have been experiencing, the gift that you have received, and extending it out through an organized practice. We talked last week a little bit about the ministry of the moment and activating that and recognizing the importance of presence every day. You had a meditation that you listened to bring you into that even more deeply. But we're going to talk more now about having an actual practice. And even for those of you who at this moment are thinking that I probably will not, start an actual coaching practice, to realize that one never knows what we're going to be called to do. That may be where we are right now, but we may feel the call at some other point to step forward and to do something that we're not thinking about now. Circumstances themselves may draw us into that. People may feel this transformation within us. They'll feel something happening and they'll want what they're feeling. That's something that I've said so many times, that this is a compelling experience. It compels people to desire that which we have received, and our willingness to offer that is an invitation for them. They're going to want it because it's really the only thing that we all truly want. It is the deepest longing of our soul to be fully connected, fully present, fully alive, especially in that I am current. The opposite of which is the ego's law of manifestation, which is formed on the mantra, I want that, but we are focused on the soul's power of manifestation, focused on the mantra, I am that. So, I'm going to turn it over to our dear beloved Cheryl here for a few minutes, and she has obviously a wealth of experience working in a soul practice, working with hundreds and hundreds of people, and she has such wisdom to offer. So, Cheryl, welcome back. It's great to have you here again.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be on lesson 43. Amazing. 10 months of brilliance. It's been beautiful. So last week, lesson 42, we talked about more of the ministry of the moment, and we had suggested that perhaps your ministry of the moment could morph or change into possibly being an active practice with the people that you're offering the ministry of the moment to wanting more, to seeing who you are. And as we be the change, or we model this I am consciousness, people want more of that. They want what we have. They would love more guidance, perhaps. So keeping your heart and mind and consciousness open, being aware to the opportunities where an active practice might start to make more sense. And I have a lot of students and clients over the years that have said that they never thought that they would be doing what they were doing as far as coaching or having a holistic wellness practice. They just wanted to learn things from me for themselves, but then as they were out in the world modeling that, they realized that they really wanted to teach and guide in a much deeper way. You don't have to, but all we're really saying here today is stay open to the option. You never know how that might unfold for you, or you might want to sit down and have that really active practice. And within that practice, keeping in mind that there are a lot of, it goes deeper than the ministry of the moment. So there's a lot of complexities that show up where we may be working with people with grief or loss or some heavy conflict in their life, their family life, raising a family. We might be discussing sexuality with them or their marriage. Some people have aging parents and they're dealing with that. Empty nesters, people that are victims of abuse. There's lots of things that can show up. And I really trust, and so I'm encouraging you to perhaps think of it this way, is that I really believe, and it's always been true for me, that I've never gotten more than I could handle. I've always prayed, and even if I'm in the middle of a session and I'm not sure what I'm going to say next, I will always allow myself that moment for prayer, and I step back and I really let myself be guided. So just keep that in mind, that you will always, always know how to handle any given moment. And if for any reason you don't, you can always do some research and get back to somebody on a question. But for the most part, you will always, and I've never once in 15 years of doing this had a situation that I couldn't handle.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have some wisdom for. So just offering that up as so it might be people that we're offering in our active practice, offering them guidance in any of the areas I mentioned. But then there's also people who are feeling great. Their life is wonderful, but they'd really love some support along the way, navigating some areas that they're not sure of. So there's different ways that we may be approached, just people just needing general support, or someone to just be in their corner. And that's what a coach or a mentor or a guide is somebody to just be their champion. So there's many ways that we might have an active practice. And remembering that we're really loving them, we're really opening our hearts and loving people. For some people, they may never have been listened to or loved in the way that we can really offer them through our I am presence and consciousness. So we listen and we hold them in so many ways when we have our active practice.
Yeah, Cheryl, I want to say something quickly about this whole trusting of ourselves. I think this is such an important thing. And what we're really trusting is not ourselves, but the active current that we have been adopting of that I am consciousness. To know that it is not me that is always going to know the right thing to say or do, but it's going to be that I am current that is operating through me. And I want everyone just to have that confidence. And in fact, for me, that is one of the greatest and most exciting things about this work. Even doing these lessons, and one of the reasons I love doing them with Cheryl is because Cheryl and I together, we have an intention to offer the highest level of service and information to you guys as possible. So we have a general idea of what we're going to talk about in a lesson like this, but really what we're doing is we pray beforehand and we turn it over to Spirit to allow us to open and for whatever needs to be shared, for it to be shared. It's not about sitting down and taking notes and things. I mean, that's all fine, but just to trust that I am current is always going to show up in the right way, and we're always going to say the right thing. With all the music that I've been recording, especially for this Course in Miracles project that I'm working on, one of the things that I love is that I sit down at my little studio in front of my computer, and when I sit down, I literally have no idea what I'm about to do. I have no idea of what kind of song I'm going to record or sing or write, what kind of sounds I'm going to use. I'll just start maybe playing around with different loops and percussions, and little by little I find things that match, and I find sounds that work really well together. And before long, maybe a half hour, an hour, I'm recording this beautiful song that only a few minutes earlier I had no idea what I was about to do. It just goes to show what happens when you really trust yourself. And not just yourself, but to trust that I am current is moving through you, as you. And the more you do that in a session or in your ministry of the moment or in your life, if you just continue to trust that and to know that you are fully activated now, it will always move through you in the most appropriate and gifted way possible.
Yes, exactly. So well said. So, as I had mentioned in the last lesson, I always begin my day with meditation and prayer, always. And in that, in my prayer, I always I call in. We started with soul guides, way back in February. Calling in your guides. Who is this? Where is the support that you feel might be coming your way? Who would you like to be with you as you move through your day? And I always I step back and I let Spirit lead the way. My thoughts, my words, my actions, and that to me is a really conscious way of allowing Spirit to move through me as I encounter each and everything that comes to me during the day. So yes.
So Cheryl, I mean, you've had a practice now for many years, and I'm wondering when you first started your practice, uh, how did it happen in terms of attracting people to enter into this process with you, or did it just happen organically? I would just love for people to get an idea based on your
Sure.
experience of how that began for you.
Well, I started as this little bedroom in my home in 2001. And now so I've changed my practice over the years. But, it was interesting. I'll just back up a little bit, is that people would say to me, and sometimes they'll say things to me like, oh, do you do this full time? And I'll say, do what full time? And they'll say, sometimes I'll get this, don't you have a job? Wow, like this actually isn't a job, it's my calling, and I love it. So, the surrender, trust, and gratitude was the biggest piece for me. Surrendering to thy way, really trusting that if I'm on the right path, then I will surely be supported, and having gratitude for every single opportunity that did come my way, whether it be a speaking opportunity, whether it be invited to a group, to just be part of something, to a client. So it unfolded slowly over the years, but I now have a full practice. So it was really organic, but it was really based on my faith and my trust, and again, really being grateful for everything that did come my way and not taking anything for granted. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Thank you. And I think it really just comes back to that willingness to say yes. That's where it all begins. Some people may wonder, well, is it even possible for us to have an organized practice and support myself from it? And the answer is yes, absolutely. If that is what your calling is, and this is not only a ministry but a career for you, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Now, for some of you, that may not be what you're calling forward, but for some of you, it is. I've talked to many of you who have said that you would love to be able to do this full time, just like Cheryl is doing. Well, you don't have to know how that is going to unfold right now. You just have to keep saying yes. You have to keep surrendering. You have to keep asking for guidance and trusting that you're going to be shown everything exactly in the right time, in the right way, and that you will always be guided if you continue to say yes and step back. So, Cheryl, with the surrender, trust, and gratitude, obviously, I think everyone knows that you've been through the Seminary of Spiritual Peacemaking, and as you said, that was a big piece for you. How do you integrate the surrender, trust, and gratitude into your practice?
Well, I'm surrendering to my calling. I'm surrendering to sort of that which has shown up for me. I can't not do this work. I can't not do this. And I tried not to. When I was younger and I knew that I was being called to do something, I was more in my ego, and it was more about money and prestige or whatever. But when I really started to surrender to what I knew my true calling was, the universe ups the ante when we're not following our calling, I believe. We get our little universal kick in the butt. So we might get sick, we might, things might happen where we have something that makes us really come fully facing what our calling is, and that's what happened with me. And so it's, you can't when you can't not do it, then so that's the thy way. And the trust is just knowing that the universe will be abundant with me. I am on path. I am following my calling, and trusting that the universe will provide. And going more into a left brain here, what happens is that one person hears about you, and then they tell their church group or their friends, or they tell their networking group, or it just starts to be a real referral. And that's, for me, is probably in the 90th percentile of my business. Is, yes, I have a website, but it's still referral. So it's, if you're in active practice, offering some sessions to people. I offered a series of discounted sessions so that people could really start to see the difference in their life. So I would say, I really need you to commit to 3 sessions and, $20 a session, or whatever it was that I started with. And that was a way for me. So family, friends, people that you know in the community, be bold. Say, I'm starting this active practice. I'm getting going. I would love it if you'd commit to 3 sessions. Maybe you offer it for free. But I will tell you that if you're offering something for free, people do feel uncomfortable with it. And there needs to be some sort of energy exchange. So some people would say, I don't want to pay you. I'd say, well, then, get me a gift card somewhere, or take me out for lunch. Or I had one client who couldn't afford things. She had free-range chickens. I said, bring me some eggs. So it's true. I mean, I started my practice that way with just a few people. I found that advertising, complete waste of time.
Yeah.
Really trusting in the universal flow and knowing I was on path was absolutely what worked for me.
That's the best advertising there is, isn't it?
It is. Referrals are, so just, it's just getting out there and, being bold enough to just ask the people that you know and love. Or if you're in the ministry of the moment and somebody says, wow, that was fabulous what you just said. Say, you know what, I'm starting a practice. Don't be afraid to say you're starting a practice. Be really honest. Be authentic. And say, I'm just getting going and I would love it if you could come for a couple of sessions.
Well, this is all really good information. I'm so grateful to have you part of this, Cheryl, because your experience is so invaluable. Not only your experience just in the actual practice of being a soul coach, but your attitude. I love what you're saying about being bold and being willing to step out. And I also love what you're saying about how there does need to be an exchange, because when people get something for free, they don't really honor it. It's sad but true. And even if they paid $20 or something else, if there's an exchange there, they get more out of it. And that's really the key, is for them to get as much out of this as they possibly can. And of course, it comes right back to where we left off last week, which is with presence. Our being willing to be present in a situation in our lives, in our practices, so that we can be of the highest service. That's really what makes this different, is that this is service for us. And yet there's no reason that we can't have all of our needs taken care of as we're performing that service. Seek first the kingdom of God, and all of these things will be added unto you. We really believe that. And if we can just stay in that current, in that consciousness, and realize that this is the only reason we're here, then of course that will happen. So I tell you what, Cheryl, anything else you want to add here at the end?
Just repeating the surrender. Actually, what I love to say is faith, trust, and pixie dust.
I've never heard that before. I like that.
Oh, come on.
Faith, trust, and pixie dust. All right. What a great way to end our session. Well, as we did last week, we are having a slightly shorter session so that we can have a longer meditation. We are sending out separate links, one for this discussion, and you also have another link in your email for the meditation. And I would like you, as often as you can this week, just as you did last week, to listen to this meditation, because this sets the tone. It grounds it even deeper. And that's really what we are called to do. So listen to this meditation, which is similar to the one we did last week, but it's going to be more about the activation and stepping out and trusting and being brave. So I just encourage you to listen to that. Thank you once again, Cheryl. It's been so great having you here with me again. I love doing these lessons with you. So much goodness comes out of it.
Thank you.
So everyone, have a great week. Thank you so much. Enjoy the meditation, and we'll be back here with you again next week. Bye-bye.